Welcome back to Rivals of the East. I'm your host, Buzz, with co-host Sean. Sean, you've already had your game in the books recently. We talked with Pit Rick about the Steelers-Patriots, I guess, upset, right? Steelers lost to the Patriots there. And we were getting
Upset
ready.
someone.
Yeah, we were getting ready. Well, I think both of you. We were getting ready for the
Yeah.
Monday night game, of course. That was the hapless Titans going down to Miami for Monday Night Football. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not wearing a hat that I normally wear, which is the Miami Dolphins hat, because quite frankly, I don't want to after Monday, Sean. I witnessed a terrible, terrible loss. Like, it was just bad. The Dolphins lose to the Titans 28-27 to the mayonnaise boy, King Mayo, Will Levis. Levis, dude, you watched that game, right?
No.
No, get out of here. Well,
I
I
saw
did.
highlights.
Weren't many for us. Okay, so for those that didn't watch the game because they thought it was over at a certain point, allow me to recap. So the Dolphins had a lot of offensive struggles in this game. The Titans, they probably won't win based on this year if you play them, but they will beat you up because they're a Mike Vrabel team and they're very physical. We know this. That's one of the things the Titans have been prided on, is they're a very physical team. Well, they were without Jeffrey Simmons, right? Arguably their best lineman on defense. They come into this game, dude, and Miami goes down the field when they get the ball. They kind of get the 3 on early. They can't establish the run with Henry. The Titans can't really get anything going. Levis is out there, not looking too sharp. Miami goes down, marches down the field. As they're going down there to get into the red zone, all of a sudden, when we're inside the 20, a play occurs, incompletion or whatever it was, and Connor Williams, our center, goes down. Just a bad looking play. A lineman fell on him, goes into the blue tent, right? Liam Eichenberg comes over from guard to center. And then we have Kendall Lamb, who just goes right in there. And I'm going to sum up this game for the Dolphins with this series. Miami gets to the red zone. They get to the goal line. Tua hikes the ball. He can't handle the snap, so he fumbles it at the 1, picks it up, and then it gets swatted out of his hand, and he fumbles again, and the Titans recover. That's when I knew, oh boy, here we go. And then to make matters worse, a few possessions later, Tyreek Hill catches a screen, which, by the way, I don't know if Adam Gase was calling plays or not. There's a lot of screen plays. Calls a screen. He gets tackled after a couple yards. His ankle gets rolled on, and then he's out till the second half. And we couldn't do anything. The Titans just rushed for the whole game and got pressure on 44% of the snaps with only rushing 4. And they just dropped 7 into coverage. And what happened? Well, we got a spark. Zach Seiler was bullied so bad on the pass rush by the offensive lineman for the Titans that he was actually pushed into the way or the position of the screen that was supposed to happen, and the ball hits him right in the hands as Levis is throwing it away, and he runs it in for a pick 6. Zach Seiler gets a pick 6. So then I'm thinking, this is where it turns, right? Nope, that's not where it happened. I'm not going to bore everybody with the game, but the Titans start fighting back, scratching and clawing, and we're tied up at 13 apiece going into the 4th. And things just aren't budgeted. We're not moving the ball. Tua can't throw to anybody. Tyreek's not out there, and the team looks completely different, of course. It looks like a Brian Flores offense, and I'll talk about that. But we see the Dolphins recover a muffed punt, a gift, if you will, Sean, from the Titans to the Dolphins. Miami runs it in, touchdown. They're up 20-13. The very next series, Will Levis' first play after the kickoff, tries to throw the ball on like a little toss over to Henry. Fumble, Dolphins recover, touchdown. 27-13. I said, Sean, that's game. Right?
Yep.
Well, I made the mistake of believing this is a different Dolphins team. They had 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes. The Titans go 5 plays all the way 75 yards for a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion, and they're down 27-21 with 2.5 minutes to go. All Miami has to do is probably what? What would you do in a situation where you're up and you're trying to end the game, Sean?
Throw the ball, right? No. Run the ball.
Yeah. You already got a
Just
couple
run the ball.
touchdowns. Run the ball. What does Mike McDaniel do? Screen to Devin Achane, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So he gets tackled in bounds. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. He gets the screen on this drive, doesn't go anywhere, no gain. Then it's 3rd down, and then Tua's got to throw the ball, right? Can't run it, got to throw it. Incomplete, because Tyreek's on the field. His ankle's hurt. He's just a distraction. He's not doing anything, so nobody's biting on it. So he's got to make a decision, throw to somebody else. Nobody's open. Can't move the ball. They kick the ball back to the Titans. And what do the Titans do? They go all the way down the field again and get a touchdown. They're up 28-27 with a minute and change to go. Dolphins get the ball. They can't get out of bounds. They don't have the timeouts. Tua gets sacked on a 4th down. Change of possession, game over. And that's the Dolphins for you. They completely blew it against the Tennessee Titans in prime time. And this is the start of the December collapse. You heard it right here. The December collapse is on, just like last year. Remember last year, Sean?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Remember last year? We played the Green Bay Packers, who weren't very good, and we lost up 20-10. We lost that game. 20-10. I'm sick of this team, dude. I'm just sick of him. I'm sick of Mike McDaniel. I'm sick of Tua. I'm sick of hearing excuses from people who say that they're fans. You're not fans. You're Tua fans or you're a Mike McDaniel fan. You're not a Miami Dolphins fan. You're just not. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you would be really upset with this and not go, it's just one game.
Would you perhaps want what's in the best interest of the team?
Yeah. You know what's in the best interest of the team? There's a lot of problems with this team. One of the things that I've been saying since the offseason and quite a while is what? A depth issue. We're very top heavy. Well, Deshaun Elliott's in there because Javon Holland was hurt. Not too bad, right? But then he gets hurt. Then who you got? And then we look at the corner position. Don't even get me started on the fact that Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard got burned by DeAndre Hopkins. 31-year-old DeAndre Hopkins burned both of
Who
them.
isn't fast to begin with.
No, and in fact, it's so bad. Listen to this. Will Levis, 23 of 38, 327 yards, a touchdown and a pick. They didn't run the ball very well, right? But in the red zone, you couldn't stop Henry. He was going to get a touchdown. Hopkins had 7 catches for 124 yards. What?
Yeah. Sounds like a receiver the Patriots could have used. Weird.
Well, let's not act like he's been doing something all year. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's been more than what we have.
this is true, but I mean, you guys are a perpetual dumpster fire now. So there is that. But if you're the Dolphins, and by the way, I've got comments from Mike McDaniel and Vic Fangio on this, but if you're the Dolphins, you can't be happy with this because now you play a Jets team in what's going to be a bad weather game. You have a ton of injuries, which, by the way, Connor Williams goes out. He has a torn ACL, so he's done for the year. Today, it was reported Liam Eichenberg is in a walking boot. So you know who we signed at center? We called up a center who hasn't played in 4 years and was sitting on his couch watching Netflix, and he's starting for us on Sunday. You know who his backup is? Because now we have 2 centers.
Perhaps Jeff Saturday, worst case scenario.
No, Matt Skura. Do you know who Matt Skura is?
He's been around.
Listen, we hired him. We brought him in last year. He was so bad, he only lasted 3 days in training camp and he got cut. So let's bring that guy back.
He knows the system.
It's a methodology. It's a system. Yeah, you know what we need? We need a head coach. We need a quarterback.
Yeah, you already have your coordinator in place.
Mike McDaniel is a very good offensive coordinator. He is not a head coach. This team is not disciplined. They're not physical. They're not tough. Everything about this team is pathetic. And the fact that people can sit here and say that we should be happy that we're 9-4 now going down the stretch in these 4 last games, which are really tough, by the way. The Jets are going to be a tough game because they don't care. Zach Wilson's coming off a career game. They held the last two teams, which by the way, the Texans are a playoff team. They held the Texans to under 200 yards of offense, and the team before that. So they're firing on all cylinders defensively, and they have a better semblance of a quarterback than Tim Boyle. So they're going to play rough and tough football. They're more physical than we are. And also on top of that, we play the Cowboys, we play the Ravens in Baltimore, and then we have to play the Bills. It's very likely that if we don't beat the Jets, we will lose out the rest of this year and miss the playoffs, which, by the way, if the Broncos win their 2 division games that's left on the table for this season, guess what? They're in the playoffs. We're not. You believe that?
Yeah, I mean, Dolphins left the AFC open.
They did.
Yeah.
The Ravens are taking care of their business. The Bills are trying to sneak in and take the division very sneakily. Sneakily. I don't know, man. Like we're a team that there's just Pat McAfee has mentioned this and others have mentioned it. Mike McDaniel, I'll give him the credit that is due that he has been able to do something that not many people can do, and that's make Tua look much better. But one thing that this game showed me with the Titans is that how much of that is really scheme, but how much of that is Tyreek Hill's talent. Because when he went out, you still had Jalen Waddle, you still had Cedric Wilson, you still had Durham Smythe, you still had Braxton Berrios, you still had these other guys, Devin Achane, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson. Why is it that you couldn't even get a first down? How could you not move the ball without Tyreek Hill? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you could say the Titans are tough, but they're not exactly a elite defense either, or
They're
offense to apply pressure, but they
No.
applied enough pressure offensively.
So this game was a reminder for people out there that, yes, indeed, the Dolphins are still the Dolphins. And for anybody that thinks that things are going to change, I have a news flash for you. We're going to lose at least 3 of the next 4. We may beat the Jets, and people say, see, it's just one game. Congratulations. And then we lose out. Or if we lose to the Jets, it's a high probability we probably will lose out. That's just a fact. Because the injuries are piling up. We don't have the depth on that offensive line. What happens when Tua has to hold the ball more than 2 seconds? He gets sacked. And that's another thing. If we had a mobile quarterback, that overcomes deficiencies, as you know, for offensive line shortcomings, right? Like, do you really think that the Atlanta Falcons had a very good offensive line when Michael Vick was their quarterback? They did not. Do you really think that the Ravens have as good an offensive line as you might think when it comes to pass protection for Lamar Jackson? They're not that great. They're good at run blocking, but Lamar scrambles still. He moves around. There's a lot of these teams that with mobile quarterbacks, they overcome some of those things and they make it work. We don't have a quarterback that does that. So we have to have a highly invested, expensive, talented offensive line, or, actually get a good offensive line coach. And no, I don't think Butch Berry's a good offensive line coach, because if he was, we wouldn't have the issues we're having right now when you have to hold the ball more than 2 seconds. So I think the issue is that if you want to keep a bad offensive line, you should have gone out and tried to get Lamar Jackson. That's just the reality, because Tua ain't going to do it. And in fact, this is how confident I am. We could lose out, and they're still going to pay Tua 55, 60 million in that range a year. I'm confident. I very much so believe that he's going to get paid the highest amount of any quarterback in the NFL for doing absolutely nothing. He's not athletic. I'm sorry. He doesn't have an arm. He doesn't have a cannon. He's not athletic. He can't extend plays. I watched the man and this isn't just a Tua issue, okay? But I'm going to nitpick on him because he's the quarterback, and if you're in a game situation, you got to be able to step up, and he can't. I watched him try to step up or start taking off. He slips on the turf like a gaff reel. I kept hearing like every time he starts trying to run, and he's like, eh. I'm like, throw the ball away. Don't take a sack. They hit him a couple times too, and he felt it. I don't know. Is it just one game? Yeah, every game is just one game. But when you don't fix the problems that keep popping up in just one game, then it goes on and on. That becomes an issue. And we have a lot of issues on this team. That's enough of my complaining. Let's talk turkey here, Sean. We have a big game coming up here. It's so big that it got flexed out of prime time. We have the Chiefs and the Patriots coming up. Are the Patriots going to zap the Chiefs too?
No. No. Not in front of Taylor Swift. Not in Foxborough. Not in prime time. Not happening.
Well, they're not in prime time.
Yeah,
So
that's
good.
my point. That's why I said not in prime time.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But no, it's adorable. It's lighthearted. Bailey Zappi coming out there and the team somewhat feeling like what it feels like to win a game again, but that's all it is. Do the Chiefs have some issues? Yes, they do. Offensively, their receivers are a travesty, outside of Travis Kelce, but he's a tight end, you expect that out of him. Patrick Mahomes getting upset with calls that are irrelevant to the actual game of football.
Bad Kermit.
I kind of like it personally because when I always heard those comments about Tom Brady and everything, and I'm like, I don't know, he kind of always took credit for it and didn't sit there and continue on and continue on and continue on. And then, as Andy Reid, as the good coach as he is, he kind of snubbed it in the media day after and was like, it's just a call. Like, we got to play better. And I'm like, oh, taking credit for it. Imagine that. That's what a leader does. A leader like Bailey Zappi. I don't know. We don't have the horses, let's just say that, to pull the carriage. Defensively, I think we're going to keep ourselves in the game in the first half. Chiefs defense for once, probably in the past like 5 years, is actually coming on. They're proven to be pretty competent. So I think that's going to be an issue for the Patriots. I don't think we're going to see, a 21-point deficit in the first half. I don't think it's happening. It's not Mitch Trubisky. It's Patrick Mahomes. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I think the Chiefs have been reeling a little bit, quite frankly. Now, man, that was a bad call. That's all I kept hearing. Like, he goes up to see Josh Allen. He's like, man, that was the worst call I ever seen in my life. And Josh Allen's like, oh, okay. Listen, I think Andy Reid is arguably one of the greatest head coaches of all time, personally. If there was no Bill Belichick, we'd be talking about Andy Reid for the things that he's able to do and overcome. I do think he'll find a way to win this game, but I do think it is probably going to be ugly. I think one thing that Bill likes to be is a thorn in everybody's side, even if his team is trash. He still likes to be that jab and be like, just kind of. You know what Bill is? He's a sunburn. Really bad sunburn. That's the Patriots this year. Anybody they play, it makes them feel like it's a really bad sunburn. It's not going to be there forever. It's going to go away and you'll be fine. But it's really annoying and sometimes they can hurt. That's what Patriots are. So, that Boston tan.
Yeah, that thing. Just in case, he doesn't have a resume, with Super Bowl rings and all that nonsense.
That's
Maybe
Brady's,
he's building
by the way.
one at this point. Yeah, okay. He's building that resume, I guess, from what, last week on, because apparently that's how that works. So maybe that's what he's trying to show people is, he's got a team that's got to fight, and defensively he can still coach a team because that's all it seems to really be. Special teams still a nightmare. We're gonna give up, probably field positioning more often than not. Probably some boneheaded you know, false starts. We're good for a few of those.
Here's a question.
Ultimately, I just don't think it's really going to be competitive after the second half.
Sean, here's a question.
Yeah.
Who's going to commit more mistakes in this game? New England special teams or Kadarius Toney?
I think special teams just because of opportunities. I think they'll have more
Really?
opportunities to make mistakes. Yeah.
I don't know. Kadarius Toney, man, he's cost the Chiefs at least 2 games.
Well, just put it this way. I think the Patriots will have to punt enough that it's going to be more than targets for Kadarius Toney.
Fair enough. Kelsey said that they were lucky to have him as a player. Stood up for him. He also is dating Taylor Swift, so
yeah,
I
not a whole lot of credibility.
I don't take really much of what Kelsey says as anything worthy of my time or thoughts. But I thought I'd share for you just to let you know that Kadarius Toney, he's a great player. Like I said, I do think that the Chiefs will win, but they are going to get that Boston sunburn.
Well, I mean,
which by the way, I meant to tell you too, because you rolled your eyes at me when I said that those rings were because of Brady. I want to remind you of something. Tom Brady without Bill Belichick, winning record in a Super Bowl. Bill Belichick without Tom Brady, losing record, no playoff wins.
I can arguably also sit there and flip it and go, the first 3 Super Bowl rings that Tom Brady had was also contributed to Bill Belichick's defense. So,
but did they pass the ball?
Not often. Not often.
But they did.
The
who was the running
Super
back?
Bowl. Which one? The horse roster they had that
yeah,
entire,
the first
like,
one.
saga?
Who was RB1 for that Super Bowl Patriots team for
Which
2001, the first one?
I couldn't even tell you. That's how forgettable outside of Kevin Falk.
It's not his fault.
Yeah, no, it's not. Those Patriots teams, what is it? He had like 23 pass attempts, I think, in the Super Bowl. So
it was a different era, though.
Yeah, defensive one.
Yeah.
Good thing we have Bill Belichick.
At that time, right guy, right place, right time. I think it all worked out for them, obviously, but that has all come to a crashing end.
Brady did say it himself. Couldn't have done it without Bill, without his hard mental coaching, his tactics, putting him in opportunities to succeed, stuff like that.
But was
kind of like
Bill,
what a coach does.
But was Bill cool? Was Bill? Yeah, was Bill? Did
Not
Bill
like
have
McDaniel?
Did Bill have a postcard with how many days since
365?
Maybe since he last cheated or something? Did he have a watch that was set to like a certain time for a team meeting? Was he a cool guy to hang out with?
Did he ever approach the the stage with a German crowd and ask, I bet you thought I was going to be a lot bigger than I am?
To this.
To crickets and clearing of throats, because that would be your boy Mike McDaniel.
He's not my boy.
He's imagine how many Super Bowl rings Tom Brady would have if you had him as your head coach.
Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with what's his name now? The human thumb. Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
The intoxicated tomato himself. Who would just go over and like redo everything. So
I just see him on the sideline, like just spinning his glass of wine before he takes a sip to yell at Brady.
Why'd you throw that? Yeah. So final score prediction, I'm going Chiefs 28, Patriots 17.
24-17 Chiefs.
Okay. Miami Dolphins hosting the New York Jets. The weather report, it should taper off with the rain. It's been dumping rain nonstop this last few days into this weekend. At game time, should taper off. but 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts was sustained at 20 to 25. This is not going to be a favorable passing game. It's going to be more built, I think, on a run game, especially field conditions and whatnot. It's going to be fighting in a phone booth, as the kids say. What's your take on this division game with the new resurgence of the legend himself, Zach Wilson?
Oh, 7-13 Jets.
13-7 Jets.
Yep.
You think they hold Miami to 7?
Yeah, I don't think it's holding them to 7. I think it's can they do anything, get out of their own way. No, I don't. Here's the thing. I think you might see them get cute and it's gonna cost them.
Right.
Kind of like, should I just run? Sometimes the game presents itself in an obvious way. Just run the damn ball. Don't throw a screen pass. Don't throw a misdirection. Play action pass. Just run the damn ball. Kind of like the Patriots did against the Bills. They didn't go, oh no, we gotta keep some confidence with Mac Jones and let him air it out in a torrential downpour with a hailing storm with winds blowing all over the place. What did Josh Allen do? He thought he could throw it all over the place. He didn't throw it all over the place.
Well, I do want to say that we do have quite the injury report. I'm going to read this off here going in. So as of
Yeah,
today,
that
we
helps.
record Thursday. Participation for practice, although they're saying that there was no practice on Wednesday and they held a walkthrough on Thursday. There's only one practice Miami's doing this week, and it's Friday. So they're only doing 1 day of practice. Devin Achan did not play or participate, I should say. Liam Eichenberg did not participate. He was in a walking boot. Deshaun Elliott did not participate due to concussion. He's still being evaluated. Tyreek Hill did not play.
Playing.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill did not participate due to his ankle. He's still day to day. Robert Hunt did not participate, still resting up that knee and ankle, or excuse me, hamstring. But guess who did participate on a limited basis? Teron Armstead. So nothing like getting a guy who's got bad knees and on some wet soil. So that should go pretty well. The only people for the Jets that didn't participate in their actual practice was Jason Brownie and Carter Warren. Jason Brownie. I don't know who those guys are, but either way, they did have limited reps for X, Raheem, Van Ginkel, Chris Brooks at running back. So, like some key pieces.
I honestly, outside of like 2 players, I'd expect to see all of them. Concussion in that amount of time, it's not possible.
Yeah, I do think Hill is going to play.
Yeah, I agree.
Is he going to be 100%? I
No.
think he's going to be more of a decoy than anything. The old Waddle trick, you know. I mean, not only that, but he's also got, not only did he not participate, and he's got a bad ankle going on right now, but he also just got hit with 2 more lawsuits from 2 different women that claim to be baby mamas for him, and they want some of that 30 million he's got. So,
Jesus.
Not only did he assault some arena guy earlier this year, now he just, months later, he's got 2 women coming after his payday. Apparently, I don't know what the story is, but that is some new stuff. Xavier Howard had his issues earlier this year. I'm not going to get a detail about that, but you can look it up with alleged filming of women unexpectedly. And then you've got Tyreek Hill. We had Eli Apple's situation where the girl who claimed that she was the mother of his child was trying to get people and saying, "I'll pay you if you hurt him." There was that whole story that broke out. She was filing lawsuits there. Now we've got Tyreek Hill's hit with 2 additional lawsuits for child support or restitution. So I'm just waiting for the next lawsuit or issue to pop. At least one thing I will say about Tua, I don't have to worry about him being involved in anything controversial, Sean. He's he's always the person I've always said. Tua seems like a very likable, level-headed, really good guy. And I like the guy, and I just wish he was a better quarterback. I just wish he was a better quarterback. And maybe if he didn't have the litany of injury history that he does with the ankles and the hip, and some of the other things, I think maybe it would be a lot different. But unfortunately, um, that's just the way it is. Maybe Mac Jones and him will be hanging out on the beach together, just reminiscing about the good old days. Just both those guys getting some time together and talking about how fun
As
it was to play with Nick
as
Saban.
Hurts making a playoff push.
Yeah. Please no. Well, he's an Oklahoma quarterback. So you say 13-7. I'm actually picking the Jets. I don't trust this team in bad weather. I don't trust them in the trenches. I'm going Jets 16-10 over Miami. I know
Ugly
people are going
game.
to say, how do you go against the Dolphins? It's pretty easy if you watch them and you see the injuries and you see how everything's going. We are in December. I have no faith. I don't have any faith. Here's the thing. Talk to me about this, Sean, because you have the reverse effect with the Patriots with some of the people, although maybe not now, but it was like this earlier. We have been a team, the Dolphins have been a team that is continuously screwed up down the stretch. Correct? It doesn't matter who the head coach is, right? It doesn't matter. There's always something that we get screwed. We lose out. We don't make the playoffs. We lose. You can go back to Philbin days. You can go back to Flores. You can go back to Jimmy Johnson. You can go back as far as you want. Why would anybody assume that we are going to be any different this year when just last year, with the same players, the same coaches and everything, we did the same thing?
Yeah, expect the expected until proven otherwise.
Right. So I don't believe the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs. That's a controversial statement. I don't believe that they are because I don't believe they're going to win in December. Until they prove me wrong, I don't believe that. I do. And the other side of the coin is everybody expected, and I fell victim to this too, but everybody expected New England to win a game. Hey, they're going to win this game. Don't count New England out. It's like, New England ain't good, man. You can't just assume because you were so used to winning the opposite that you're going to keep winning.
Yeah.
You got to prove them otherwise, and New England
Even
did
if
prove them
it's
otherwise.
6-0,
It could be worse. You could lose 3-0,
Yeah.
like the Raiders
Vikings
did.
game. Yeah.
Although the Raiders, as we record this, let's check the score real quick because this is pretty historic. What's going on here? The Raiders have played the Chargers tonight. And quite frankly, I was not expecting to see the score for what it was. But as we record this right now, the Raiders are up 63-14. What? There's less than 5 minutes to go. 63?
Staley's fighting for his life.
I want to know how many touchdowns is Aiden O'Connell has 4. Jack Jones got a pick 6. And then another fumble recovery for a touchdown. Whew. You think they're going to break the record tonight? 10 more points.
No.
Man. You think they're going to get 70 like Miami did?
No.
Oh, okay.
They might not score again.
Time will tell. Think Josh McDaniels could do that?
No.
Don't ever talk about the Patriots like that.
Don't you ever.
Don't you ever. Well, we'll see what happens. Games are coming up here. Chiefs, Patriots, afternoon game. And Dolphins, Jets, also a 1 o'clock game. So we'll figure it out. But until next time, everybody, we'll see what happens this wacky week 15. But Sean, Godspeed, man. Maybe you never know. Maybe this could be the week that they save Bill's job.
Yeah.
Could be.
Maybe
all right,
the
everybody.
Dolphins will get a December win, but highly unlikely.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll take care. We'll catch you in the next episode. Adios.